Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Life Worth Reading. And welcome to my May TBR, which will also coincide with the Asian Readathon. In case you haven't heard, or if you don't know yet, May is Asian Cultural Heritage Month, and so every May with Cindy here on YouTube hosts an Asian Readathon where you just read Asian authors throughout the month. It doesn't mean that you have to exclusively read Asian authors, but you have a list with some prompts and you have to try to diversify reading as much as you can. I usually participate every single year. Last year I don't think I participated because I wasn't really on BookTube at the time, like in May, but this year I am back and I am so excited to be participating once again. I have a lot of great books on my TBR, so with that being said, let's just get into it. In case you want to know more information, I will leave with Cindy's video down in the description, as well as a Google Docs with all the prompts, a Storygraph where you can find a lot of book recommendations, and other resources down in the description. This year's theme is Past Lives, the movie that came out earlier. No, not this year, last year. I haven't seen it yet, which feels very sinful that I haven't seen it, but I know that it's like a romance and it's a love story, and I know that everyone loved it, and I feel like I will love it too when I finally watch it. But that's the theme. It's loosely inspired by the movie, and so let's get into the prompts. Every year the first prompt is the most simple one, which is read a book by an Asian author. Here you have like full freedom to do whatever you want, pick any genre that you want. It's basically like a free pick, if you will. For this prompt, I'm picking a book that didn't really fit with any other prompt, and so that is Honor by 3D Umrigar. I have talked a lot about this book in some videos of mine, but this is a story set in India, and it's by this author who has been a journalist for over 30 years, and so everything that she says has like a foundation to it. She has researched about this a lot, and she has a lot of knowledge to input into this fiction book. And I'm just going to read you the tiny little thing that they have here, and it says, in this riveting and immersive novel, best-selling author 3D Umrigar tells the story of two couples and the sometimes dangerous and heartbreaking challenges of love across a cultural divide. This is about an Indian-American journalist, Smita, who has returned to India to cover a story, and it's about the case of Meena, a Hindu woman attacked by members of her own village and her own family for marrying a Muslim man. And so while this is all happening, Smita tries in every way to the right to scales. She also finds herself increasingly drawn to Mohem, an Indian man she meets while on assignments. And it's basically about also women and how much they suffer in their own lands. It's about cultural divide, it's about love, and I feel like this will be just a really good book. It has an amazing rating, and I love this cover, and I love the fact that I own this book. I am so happy and glad that I own this book, so I really can't wait to finally read it in May. The next prompt is to read a book that feels timeless, and this can mean a lot of things. Cindy does clarify what this could mean. You can interpret it in your own way. One of the interpretations that she gave was that this could be a book that follows or spans across generations, and that's what I decided to choose. And for that prompt, I chose Beasts of a Little Land by Juhia Kim. This is a Korean author, and this book is about generations. It spans across generations. It's an intergenerational story, which I absolutely love. It starts in 1917 when a local man in the snowy mountains of Korea saves a Japanese soldier from being attacked by a tiger. From what I understand, from then on out, that's an action that has a lot of consequences through time, and we are just going to follow that story as it spans across the next couple of decades. And I am just really excited to read this book. It's a book that I've been meaning to read for a couple of years now. That's why I'm prioritizing it. I am definitely prioritizing backlist books. That's kind of what I'm into this year. And so this is a book that has been on my radar for a long time. I had it saved on Script, which is now Everend. And I've just been meaning to read it for a couple of years now. So I feel like I'm finally ready to prioritize it in May and read it, and hopefully I'll really enjoy it. The next prompt is to read an underrated book, and this could also be interpreted in a few ways, but the book that I particularly chose was The Stolen Bicycle by Woo Ming Yi. and this is a book by a Taiwanese author, and I picked up this book maybe a month and a half ago, because it sounded really interesting, and it was longlisted for the Man Booker International Prize of 2018, so it is a backlist book, but I haven't heard a lot about it. It doesn't have a lot of ratings on Goodreads, and so that's why it's in my definition of underrated. And first of all, it is quite beautiful. It is a gorgeous book, and the story sounded really interesting. It says here, a writer embarks on an epic quest in search of his missing father's stolen bicycle, and soon finds himself caught up in the strangely intertwined stories of Lin Yang, the oldest elephant who ever lived, the soldiers who fought in the jungles of the Southeast Asia during the Second World War, and the secret worlds of the butterfly handicraft makers and antique bicycle fanatics of Taiwan. The Stolen Bicycle is both a majestic historical novel and a profound, startlingly intimate meditation on memory, family, and home. So it's about this man who is looking for his missing father's stolen bike. That's why that's the name. But it does feel like it'll touch on a lot of other subjects. As you've seen, it sounds like a really interesting concept, and I don't know, I just felt really drawn to it. I love the illustrations as well. I felt really drawn to it when I bought it, and so I'm finally excited to give it a chance and see what I think of it, and hopefully I'll love it and recommend it, and it can stop being a little bit underrated. Maybe we can all read it and enjoy it, and wouldn't that be great? Next up, we have Read a Debut Book, which is also very vast and very large as a prompt in itself. But I chose a very popular book actually, and that is A Woman is No Man by Etaf Rum. This is a Palestinian-American author, and I actually don't remember a lot about this book. I just know that it follows the intricacies of being a woman in this particular context, and I know that it's very heartbreaking and that a lot of people love it, and so I'm very excited to finally get to it. From what I do know, it's about a woman, our protagonist, who lives with a conservative family in America, and as she turns 18, they are starting to meet with suitors, but she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to be in an arranged marriage. And I think it's just her fighting against this conformities and this, you know, things that women have to deal with and be subjected to. And I think I love exploring identity, religion, tradition in a novel, and I love hearing women's voices through that, and I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this book because everyone else has. It sounds like it's absolutely amazing, and I really want to, I feel like it's really important, especially right now, to read books from Palestinian authors and to support them, and that's what I'll be doing. And the last prompt is read a book with a story, a character, or a world that represents what you would want in your next life, because it's about like the past lives thing. And for the life of me, I couldn't find a book that I wanted to read for my own life. But Cindy also said that it could be like a country that you would like to visit or a country that you enjoy. And so for this prompt, I picked The Mountain Sings by Nguyen Phan Cam. I searched how to pronounce this. I'm not sure if this is entirely correct, but this is a Vietnamese author, and it's a book set in Vietnam, which is a country that I have visited but that I would love to go back to. It is an absolutely beautiful country with such a rich culture and such a rich history, and I don't feel like I've read enough from Vietnamese authors, and this book is also one similarly to Beast of Little Land that has been on my radar for a couple of years now, and so I finally want to read it. It's also historical fiction. I feel like it's set after the Vietnamese War, as three siblings kind of stay away from each other and get separated, and it's about their lives, I think. Those are the 5 prompts, so those are the 5 books that I will definitely be reading, but I have here 5 more, which is utterly ridiculous, that I would like to get to this month. This upcoming month. Maybe only 4. Yeah, I feel like that's for the best. The first 2 are library books that I have, which are Hazelation by Ted Chiang. These are short stories, science fiction short stories, and I've heard a lot about this author and about the stories overall. So I really want to get to this book. I'm going to be reading like the short stories like chill throughout the month, and we'll see if I get to finish it or not. And then a book that I picked up today, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is on my spring TBR, so if I could read it in May, that would be amazing. If not, in June it'll be, because it's not on the official TBR. But yeah, I really want to read this book. I don't know a lot about it. I know it's about Kathy and her memories within this like prestigious school, and about her friends, and I know it has some sort of weird twist to it that I don't know anything about. Then we have another two historical fictions. One is a book that I've talked about recently in my self-destructing books. That is Pachinko by Minjin Lee. How have I still not read this book? I tell myself that I'm going to read this every single May. I never do, but this will be the year that I read it. Whether it's in May or not, this is the year that I read it. So I'm really excited to finally get to this book, and I just know that I'm going to love it. And finally, we have a book that is also on my spring TBR, which is why I wanted to read it in May, and that is Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu. This is also historical fiction. This one is set in China, and yeah, guys, I just love historical fiction. I really love historical fiction, intergenerational stories, like that's where it's at, and I am really excited about getting to this. Alright friends, so that is the final TBR, plus a couple of books that I'll be reading on my Kindle, and I am so excited about this edition of Asian Readathon. If you can join, please do, but remember to read diversely throughout the year. It's good to participate and to support these authors, but remember to do it all year. But with that being said, these challenges are always so fun, and with Cindy works really hard to create a really positive community and environment, and so I'm very excited to be taking part of it once again. Let me know if you're participating in the comments, and if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.